Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. It looks like we're still getting some people on the webinar. So this is Sharon Lynch, the Product Program Director here at Girl Scout Diamonds. And then also in our question box is Heather Bounds, the Product Program Coordinator. She'll be in there in case you have any questions on the webinar. And then also after the webinar is over, you can also email productsales@girlscoutdiamonds.org if you forgot to ask something or just need a follow-up, and we would be happy to answer that for you. All right, so today's webinar is going to be about submitting the final order and also parent debt. The two kind of go hand in hand. This week, you should be kind of figuring out what your leftover inventory is, what you have sold, what you haven't, and then what you still need to collect from parents and what's still outstanding. So here are upcoming deadlines. March 27th is when troop rewards are due in eBudde. March 29th is when service unit rewards are due in eBudde. March 29th is also when parent debt forms are due to the council. April 20th is the council draft for 100% of funds due. And April 30th through May 4th is Girl Scouts Give Back Week. I would encourage you to strictly adhere to these deadlines. They're very important when we have delays in getting in rewards or other such things. If we have to hunt down service units for mailing addresses, it delays everybody's rewards because we are submitting, we try to submit in one big bulk. So we can't submit any of our service unit rewards to Little Brownie until we have addresses listed for every service unit. All right, hold on, let me make sure I am recording. Yes, I am. Okay, perfect. All right, so moving on. So March 27th is when troop rewards are due in eBudde. So a couple things to remember when you're submitting your awards as troop leader. Number one, double check with all girls for their reward preferences. So if they haven't given you their card with things circled, make sure you just give them that phone call or an email. Don't assume that they want one thing or another, because we are somewhat limited sometimes as to if we can correct an item that was wrongly chosen, especially if it's if the girl wants cookie bucks versus getting the item. We are limited as to what we can return to our vendors, and so sometimes we can't correct those mistakes. So please be careful when choosing those rewards. Also, online cookie bucks is the default reward in eBudde. It used to be traditional, now it's online. And this is because some of our regional areas don't have shops, and so it's easier for them to use those online cookie bucks versus a traditional. However, you can call into any shop, regardless of location, if there's something in there that you want, and pay for that item over the phone via cookie bucks. And the shop can get that item to you. So there are ways that, areas without traditional brick and mortar stores can use those traditional cookie bucks. Also, level patches for boxes sold are automatically earned at those levels. So if a girl sells 300 boxes, she's going to get the 300 level patch. If she sells 500 boxes, she'll get the 500 level patch. All the way up to 1,000. 1,000 is the top Little Brownie level patch. And then over that, at 2018 boxes, she can earn the 2018 patch with the sea turtle on it. Even if a troop opts out, the girls will still earn patches. They don't earn the stuff, so the cookie bucks, the bikes, stuff like that, but they can earn the patches. 375 troop rewards for leaders are a maximum of 2 rewards total. Because we wanted to give troop leaders the option of choosing between, if one troop leader wanted a shirt, one troop leader wanted the trunk organizer, we put both in there with a maximum quantity of 2. But with that, you just be advised that each troop is only eligible for 2 rewards. So if you put 2 in the t-shirts and 2 in the trunks, then you're probably going to get a call from us saying, hey, which one did you want? You can't have both. It's just one item per person. I'll kind of show you. What that looks like here in a minute. All right, so we're gonna jump into eBudde real quick so I can show you what this looks like. So we're gonna use. Let me think what troop we're gonna use. I think we're gonna use our just office troop. so I can show you this. So you're going to go to your troop, which in my case is troop 6000. And then you're going to go to rewards. You're going to go down here. So your initial rewards have already been submitted. If you need a reminder, if you haven't passed out initial rewards yet of who got it, you can click this girl report. It'll print out a report for you showing you exactly which girl gets what reward. But for our final rewards, you're going to come down here and you're going to click fill out. So up here, you can see that this troop is not opted out of rewards, which means they're going to receive the regular 55 cents per box. You can also see your troop PGA. In this case, we only have one girl in this troop, and she sold 1,003 boxes. So her troop PGA is going to be 1,003. And just a reminder, troop rewards are only available for troop pathway troops. They are not available for IRG troops. Okay. So we see here that Diamond Scout receives 3 rewards. So we're going to come in here and we're just going to look to see if we have to make any choices for her. So when we come in here, we can see that she's going to earn the tag along turtle, the earbuds, all this fun stuff. We're going to have to pick one out of these as to what she's going to get. And then as we scroll down here, you can see that this is that troop reward that we were talking about. So we can enter in, like the system would let us enter in a total of 4 rewards, but we can't, you know that your troop is only going to get 2 rewards. So we're going to, we'll go through and kind of spot check that, but you could do 1 here and 1 here, which would equal 2, and then put in your sizes, or you could do 0 here and 2 here. And then you would also put in the 2 different sizes right here. So once you're finished getting all of her rewards, you're going to scroll down and you're just going to submit your reward order. So with that, once your troop has submitted their reward order, this will go to the service unit. And if there's a problem, it's going to tell you, hey, like you didn't put in your sizes for your t-shirts, go back and do that. And then you'd save it and submit it again. So this is going to go to your service unit, and then your service unit's going to be able to come in here and review this and just make sure that the choices that you made were the appropriate choices, and that there's not over allocation or under allocation in here. Just kind of spot check it and then submit it to us. All right, so on the service unit level, on March 29th, service unit rewards are due in eBudde. A couple things to check. Make sure that all troops have submitted their rewards. Check to make sure no more than 2 total leader rewards have been chosen per troop. And then also enter in the mailing address for the rewards. And then after you're done, hit submit. And so that will in turn come to us. Now, if there's ever a problem and a troop leader is like, oh my gosh, I forgot, or I chose the wrong thing, or you're noticing something's off, just email us. We can unsubmit your rewards. It's not a big deal. However, if we unsubmit them, you will have to resubmit those rewards. Also, please note that any cookies left in the service unit after reward submission will transfer to the service unit IRG troop so that the service unit is drafted for them. So if you see that transfer triggered, you'll know, like, hey, I had 12 cases of Samoas left in my service unit, after the cookie season was over. So we transfer those to the IRG troop, which is the service unit's troop for IRG girls, and we draft that troop for those cookies plus any IRG cookies that are left in that troop. So just to kind of go through this, I'm going to come up here. I think I'm going to use Pocahontas as an example. You just go over here and click your rewards tab. Hopefully it works. You're going to choose final. And then it's going to ask you for your information. If this isn't right, you update it, and then you click submit rewards. That will in turn come up to us, and we'll be able to go in here and say, oh, who's in here, who's not, who do we need to unsubmit, who's good. And we'll kind of spot check that as well. If we have any questions, we will email the service unit, just to help us better manage the rewards. But I would just say service units, just give it a once over. Go in your troops, make sure things look okay. If anything looks off, ask questions. If you're noticing that you have a troop submit and everyone has online cookie bucks, you might want to give that troop leader a call and be like, hey, did you actually submit your awards? Or, what's going on here? Just little stuff like that. All right, so the girl order tab. So on your troop, you're gonna, at the very top in the blue block at the top, you'll see what's called the girl order tab. So this tab is pretty much a smaller version of what we have as a council, which is like the sales report. So the girl order tab is very important. It tells you for the first part, all the cookies that you've received from the council. It also gives you the opportunity to add deposits against what a girl owes. And also you can see, like, if the girl has digital cookie sales, you can click on her name and it opens up and you can see all of her transactions. But the biggest thing here is if all cookies have been allocated to girls, this difference box at the very bottom where it says difference will be 0. So if you're wondering if you have extra cookies that have not been stuck to a girl in eBudde, that's what you're going to look at. However, I will say that some troops use extra cookies, say like booth cookies or leftover cookies that may not have been sold, to boost a girl to the next rewards level. Now, I'm not saying that that's wrong. That's totally within our expectations. However, it's going to skew the total due for that girl. So I would just say that if you are choosing to boost your girls with the extra cookies that you have that may not be sold yet, I would just be careful to keep a separate record somewhere else where you know exactly what the girl has taken and has sold, so that if you have a question or we have a question at the end of the season, that you have that record. So deposits can be made per girl based on payments received. And so you just click on the girl name and then you can click add a deposit where you can put in a payment. Make sure you put in a good description so that you remember, when that parent gave you the money, stuff like that. However, these deposits are not the same as deposits on the sales reports tab. So a lot of folks come in here and they're like, oh, look, well, we've paid all this money. Well, no, that's just the money that the parents have paid to you, which may or may not be accurate if the cookies that you've assigned to the girl are not accurate. So these deposits are very different than the deposits that you will see on the next tab, which is the sales report tab. So kind of keep that in mind. So I'm going to go to eBudde and just show you an example of this. Let's see, 6456. This troop leader, this is a new troop leader, and she's doing a fantastic job. So I asked her if I could use her as an example. So this is her girl order tab. So you can see down here, she's got a difference of 0. She's allocated all of her cookies last night to all of her girls. If we click on a girl, we can see all of her digital cookie, purchases. And if we scroll down, we can see where the troop leader has placed deposits against her balance. So we can see that, she placed a deposit for a booth sale here on 3/11. She allocated 16 cookies to that girl, and then the girl owes, or the troop owes $65. Whoever has that money owes that $65. So she's gone through here and she's been very, very good about allocating and putting in descriptions for all these things, versus putting in one big chunk assigned to that girl. So it's a really good idea to either put them in by booth sale or by receipt, just for your own record, so that you can kind of keep up with it. But here you can add a transaction to add cookies. You can also add a payment to add money. Just make sure that whatever you're putting here balances against your records. And if you choose to boost a girl to the next level, that I would put a line item in here that says over here, troop cookies, like unsold troop cookies or something like that, so that you know that these cookies do not actually belong to that girl. All right, so going on to our next one, this is the sales report tab. So this is a tab that you're going to need to look at to know how much is owed to the council. So the draft is on April 20th. And if you go to the bottom of your reports tab, their reports tab was super long. And so I kind of cut off the bottom and pasted it up here so that you could see it. But this amount you owe to the council, 924904. So this is the amount for 100% of the cookies that they have sold. This is the amount that the council will draft out. Now, this is only the amount that is owed to the council. This does not include proceeds. We leave the proceeds in the bank account. So if you look at the sales report, you'll see DOC. We have DOC delivered, DOC shipped, DOC donated, all kinds of DOC. DOC is digital cookie. It used to be called digital online cookies, which is why they call it DOC, but it is digital cookie. So this money has already been deposited into the council bank account. So that's in our bank account, not your bank account. And when that happens, that amount is posted as a deposit against that troops balance. So that subtracts from the amount that you owe to the council at the end of the year, which is kind of why it's really great to do digital cookie, because as you're doing digital cookie, like the amount that's coming back to the council is being lowered every time there's a purchase. So when you get to the end of the season, you're like, oh, I owe less than I thought I did. So it's just a really great, it's a really great way to manage your inventory. But this report, this sales report, this list, all cookies received by the troops. So this is initial order, this is booth, this is transfers from other service units, this is transfers from other troops. So you can see in here, so if you see a C in front of it, like C650, that's a cupboard transfer. If you see a T in front of it, that's a troop transfer. And if you see an S in front of it, it's a service unit transfer. So that kind of helps you disseminate what that information on that report means. You can also look, the contact information for the troop is up here, I've blotted that out. But down here, you can see, you know, the price of the cookies, if rewards have been chosen or not. And then based on that, what the proceeds rate is. But you can look all the way down here at the bottom. So without her digital cookie deposits, her council proceeds would have been $10,082. But because they did so awesome on digital cookie, that was made, that $833.01 was placed against her balance. And so she only owes $9249.04. So that is the total draft amount that will be taken out by the council on April 20th. Now, I would encourage you not to wait until April 19th to deposit your funds, because there is a good chance that your draft will bounce. It normally takes about 3 to 4 days sometimes for a deposit to post. I would stay on the cautionary side and you know, make sure that the week before that draft goes through that your money is in the account. So that's just my recommendation there. Okay, scrolling down. So parent debt forms are due to the council on March 29th. So just to go back to eBudde, just to reiterate so everyone knows where this report is. So this is still this troops report 6456. We're going to go over to the sales report. And this is that report, okay? So I would encourage you to go through here, check your cupboard transactions. Y'all, we make mistakes. It happens sometimes. Every once in a while, we'll, you know, write the wrong troop number down, or, you know, you'll walk in and no one can find an order and it's in the system, and we make mistakes. They don't happen often, but sometimes they do happen. So please make sure that you check your troop report. And if you have any questions, email product sales. So you scroll down here, you can see, you can change your report to view it in cases. It's by default boxes. Cases, it gets weird sometimes just because it'll be like 24.25, which is the 0.25 is a fourth of a case. But here you can see your troop sales, your proceeds, council proceeds, your DOC deposits. Also, if you want a golden ticket contest, if you want the contest where you want $100, the troop to get us to budget, those deposits will be placed in this area. As you can see, this person was in the penny draft, and we drafted them for a penny. So we placed a deposit against that in their sales report. And then down here, this amount you owe council is 9249. You can click this as show PDF, and then you can print it. I like to print out the report personally, just because it It's just nice to have on hand if you have any questions. But that is how you see your sales report. So going back to debt, or as we lovingly have coined it, the dark side of cookies. But parent debt forms are due to the council on March 29th. So a debt form should be filled out on any parent who has not turned in product or money. And I say this as lovingly as possible, if it is your sister who has not turned in product or money, turn in the debt form, because if they end up paying, it's no problem, and you have the financial, like the stress from that financial burden is off of your shoulders, because literally by turning in a debt form, you are moving the financial liability from yourself to another person. So it's so important, y'all. It is so important. Any debt not placed on debt form becomes a troop leader's debt. We lose fall product. I was so excited. We had 0 volunteers on the troop debt list, not one. So I'm looking forward to cookies this year where we have 0 leaders on the troop debt list. We love to keep our leaders. We want to keep y'all around, and we don't want you to take on any debt for a parent that is not doing what they are supposed to be doing. So please make sure you turn in that form. With that form, you need to turn in corresponding documents, parent permission forms, receipts, notes, anything that you can do to help us. If you have a text message, screenshot it. You can shoot it to us an email. We'll attach it to the form. And even if you cannot be here in person or get it in the mail by this deadline, scan it in and then put it in the mail after, because we're going to need the originals, but at least let us know, like, hey, this is a problem. I know I have this parent debt, and I'm going to send it your way. Proceeds for the debt are drafted out of the troop account. If the parent pays, the troop receives a deposit for the proceeds. And a troop leader should not take any payments after turning in a debt form. If payment is taken, sorry for the typos, y'all. If payment is taken, product staff must be notified immediately, because we have to change the amount that we draft your troop for. Payments should be made over the phone or in person at the nearest regional shop. A deposit will be made in eBudde for the payment against the troop balance. So you turn in a debt form, and after that, you tell your parents, it's like, you have to call the council and pay. And so when we receive that through the shop, I get a receipt, and then I place that deposit against your troop balance for the draft. If you give in and you take that money, shoot us an email so that we can adjust your balance. But especially with every once in a while, we'll have a parent with a large debt. We're talking about well over $1,000, and it makes our collection procedures a lot more difficult if the troop leader continues to collect on that debt. And if the council is not notified that parent has paid, then we go ahead and draft for it, and that debt is still outstanding. So please make sure that y'all follow the procedures on that. All right, so here's a copy of the parent debt form. This is, it looks a lot more complicated than it is. You just follow the letters, and it's basically, you fill out how many boxes of $4 and $5 boxes that are outstanding according to your receipts. And then just go down the B, C, D, E, and F. If you are confused by this debt form, we would be more than happy to sit down with you and work with you through this, either over the phone or in person. I probably filled out, 6 or 7 debt forms last year for volunteers, and I am 100% okay with that. But basically, you're just going to have to put in the product that was due. And then you're going to have to put in how much money you've gotten, how much money is outstanding, if your troop opted in or out of rewards, and then also what the proceeds would be from those rewards. And then finally, the total number of the total amount of debt that the council should subtract from your troop. So, and then on the back side of the form, you can check off your attachments. You have the girl permission responsibility form. You have to have one of those to turn in debt. We have to have gotten that signature from the parent saying that they understand that they are signing their daughter up and they'll have financial responsibility for the product. We also need receipts. A receipt can have a lot of different forms. It can be a text message between two people that says, hey, I gave you 4 cases, and the other person says, yes, I got them. That counts as a receipt. However, the best practice is to have a physical copy of the receipt with the money or product or rewards listed on it, and then have both parties sign. That is the optimal, best practice receipt. And also any other information concerning this account. Have you texted this parent, said, hey, we're collecting money on Friday, please have your money there. Has that parent, texted you and said, I don't think I owe this money. And you're like, yes, you do owe $100. And the parent's like, absolutely do not. Stuff like that is important, just that we can collect it in case we end up having to go to true collections, which doesn't happen often, thank goodness. But in case we do, then we are able to have all the information to make, the best decisions possible. All right, one final thing on this. If you are a troop and you're on this webinar and you have not given your bank account information to us, we cannot process your draft without it. So if we don't have that bank account information, then that debt goes to the troop leader. Again, that's a really, really harsh way to get yourself in trouble. So please make sure that we have your troop bank account information. If you have a question, you can go into eBudde and you can look for your troop bank account information under settings. You can see very easily if your troop bank account information is in here. So I would encourage you just to double check. If it's not in there, message us, make sure you get that to us. And Heather has sent out emails to all the troops that have outstanding bank account information at the moment. So this week and next week, we'll be making phone calls to collect that information. So please help us by getting that in. Having that and having a successful draft helps both us and you to remain financially positive and to keep everything running correctly. So, however, if you have any questions or concerns, please make sure to type them in the chat box below. Heather, do we have any questions right now?
I do not have any questions in the chat box right now.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and log out. And but again, if you have questions, please email them to productsales@girlscoutdiamonds.org, and we'll get you some answers on that. And if you even if it's something, y'all, even if you're not sure, give us a phone call, shoot us an email. I have this situation. It's got me concerned. Should I be concerned? And we just kind of we just kind of take note of it. And then if there ends up being a problem, then we know that we've had prior notice. So just little things like that, protect yourself and protect your troop. I think that this has just been a wonderful cookie season, and I'm thankful for each and every one of you and the part that you've had in making this successful and wonderful cookie season. So thank you so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.